little under 2 hours from now, the polls will close. That'll be it. Joining us now to talk one more time before we elect a new government is Alex Marland, Jaroslawski Chair in Political Trust and Leadership and Professor of Politics at Acadia University, and familiar face on the show. Good to see you.
Hey, thanks for having me in. 37
days. It's felt longer. Now it's all, a couple hours away from being done. What are you going to be looking for tonight?
Well, I think like so many people, we're going to be trying to figure out who's going to be prime minister after today. But, aside, there's a lot of people who are caught up in sort of the numbers. They're going to be trying to, like, watching on their screen, how many numbers as they see these changes go on. For me, I'm interested in Atlantic Canada, trying to get a sense of how many seats are going to go Liberal, how many seats are going to go Conservative. Seems less likely that we'll see NDP. I'm also interested to see what the leaders who are unsuccessful, what they do tonight. How did they handle it?
It could be a very long night, so we may not really get a sense of that to the end. And this time, British Columbia has a role to play. Normally, poor old BC, and having worked out there, by the time the election show comes on there, it's all decided. That doesn't seem to be
the interesting thing about British Columbia is it used to be that you couldn't broadcast the results. So people in British Columbia, but now people in British Columbia are going to know how the rest of the country voted, and they're still going to be able to go vote.
Interesting. What'd you make of the advanced polls? Huge numbers.
Yeah, it really tells us that people have been dialed into this campaign, that they're motivated. Some people are scared. I'm somebody who thinks that turnout should be phenomenally high in this particular election. And I would put it this way. If we can't get high turnout in this election campaign, what would it take to have high turnout?
It's been called a generational election, right? Largely a two-party race, but both sides would seem equally motivated.
Yeah, and I mean, you have to kind of look at it. We're always looking at the United States saying how divided they are. Well, we're in a situation where it's looking like two political parties very much in conflict with one another. Yeah. Whoever prevails, well, one party will have a lot more seats than the other, but in terms of popular support, there's a very divided country right now.
So does vote efficiency come into this?
Well, it always does. So we always have surprises, right? So there's always little pockets, little constituent. You're like, how did that person win? Didn't see that coming. How did that person get defeated? I mean, that's just the nature of the way our electoral system works. But in terms of people trying to get their votes out, the NDP has a very strong ground game. They're known for being able to get out the vote. It means they may be able to hold on to some seats that we might have thought otherwise they wouldn't be able to.
In such a hotly contested election like this, usually the last week, parties pull out the stops. It can get a little ugly. This seemed rather civil. Are you surprised by the tone of it?
Well, I mean, the horrible events of what happened, the shooting in Vancouver, changed the tone of everything. And I mean, it's very hard to go out and say, let's have a big rally where everybody's excited. And in fact, that happened in Quebec. For the Bloc Québécois, there were people singing and dancing, and it was just so inappropriate. So I think that really cast a pall for a lot of people over this.
So in the last few hours, we had Donald Trump going on social media with another tirade about the 51st state. A few days ago, we had the leader of the Bloc Québécois call Canada an artificial country. Preston Manning resurfaced with talk of Western separatism. What will the next prime minister, whoever that it ends up being, have to do to put that down quickly, all of that?
Well, I think the biggest thing for a lot of Canadians to realize is that we weren't voting on whether Donald Trump is going to stay on as president. We are stuck with all of his nonsense for years to come. So this is, as much as it may feel like this is the climax and this is the end of it, no, this is only starting. He is going to be going after the prime minister. He's going to be pushing us. Things are just going to get more and more difficult. And then on top of that, of course, there are things here, right? So all these problems you've just mentioned. Canadian politics is going to be, like, for some people it might be entertaining, but there's a lot of things going on here that are very high stakes.
Right. Alex, what do you think about the tone of what we might see afterwards? Again, regardless of who wins this election, the sides are so entrenched in their own, in many cases, their own bubble of information. How do you think that might play out? One side or the other, because we are largely talking about two parties, is going to be very upset after tonight.
Yeah, and I think that you could look at the leadership styles of the two main frontrunners to kind of guess how they would handle losing, to predict where they would go. I don't think that Pierre Poilievre would handle it in the same way as Mark Carney would. And so I think that what we're really going to look at is a period of time where people in Atlantic Canada in particular are going to be, worried and anxious, but not as much as we'll see in other parts of the country where there's just these inherent elements of division. The interesting part about all this is, we're not worried about Quebec separatism at the moment, the way that often is the case. At the moment, so many people in Quebec seem likely to be very much supporting Canada. But it's really, for me, the worrying sign is Alberta. There's a lot of people in Alberta who are really angry with the way things are.
Right. And again, tonight, you're going to be watching for how leaders react to the outcome.
Yes, and I mean, there's always certain ridings. For me, there's a seat in Newfoundland, in central Newfoundland, that surprised people went Tory last time. I'm wondering if they're going to hold on to that. In Nova Scotia, I'm interested up in Cape Breton. There's a competitive race going on up there. I'm interested in how that turns out, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, that's Jaime Batista, I think.
Yeah,
and you've got Alan McMaster, who was the former finance minister of the province of Nova Scotia. So, well, thank you for coming in and helping us make sense of this. Again, it will be a long night. I know you'll be up watching all of it, and we'll have to get you back in to give us your sense of the outcome.
Oh, it's going to be a busy spring in Canadian politics.
Yeah. Alex Marland, Katie University, thank you very much. We will take a break. We've got plenty of your show on the other side. Stay with us.